3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome everyone to the final project call for GNU Radio in 2018. It is December 20th, almost Christmas, and yeah, this is the final project call, and we have a few agenda items, and maybe we'll come up with some more. But I'm just quickly before we're gonna go into the agenda items, I have like some stats prepared, like I usually do. And they're pretty good stats, and I really don't want to keep you guys waiting. I just need to find the button. Share your screen, select window. There we are. Allow. Okay. So I'm not quite sure if you can. I don't know, Marcus. Maybe you need to click on my name thingy. So.
Yeah, it just says that you're having connectivity issues. Actually.
Really?
Yes.
Because I can see.
Yeah, I can hear you. So this is definitely not true.
And I can see, like on my version of Jitsi, I can see the slide deck. Can anyone else see the slide deck?
Nope. But I can.
Not me.
I can try to. It's in leads, right?
Well, this is kind of pointless if this is not on the video.
Yeah, I can try to. No. Hey.
Marcus.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Okay, so the reason I was gone is my browser crashed while I was trying. And then, I don't know, Marcus, were you able to show the slides from your end?
I can also show the slide from my end if that would help.
Let's see, maybe it does.
Mark. Let me give it a shot.
Because like I could click share on my computer and it did actually do something. Like it looked like it was picking it up, but then.
All right, one second. Select window. This is going to be Google Slides. Allow. All right, tell me if this works.
Perfect. Yeah, I can see it, but I'm not quite sure if this will. Actually, let me switch over to the. Yeah, it's great. I just want to verify that this is showing up on the dashboard as well.
Sure. I'm not going to hit presentation mode because I'm worried it's going to crash my monitors.
Like, who owns the picture? Marcus, maybe? Can you click on Ben's thingy? Is Marcus even there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm just muted, and Ben is visible on the stream as far as I can see.
So on the dashboard, I can see like whoever the purple background with the orange hat Jitsi icon is. Like I don't know who owns like where does the YouTube get the picture from? That's what I'm trying to say. Like
that's the silent observer thing, and that's definitely.
Oh, I unshared. Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna say this open source crap is not working out for us.
So here's Ben's screen. Can we see that in the?
No, we cannot. The silent observer is not like. Is there any way? Like, who's the call admin? You are, right?
I am as the silent observer.
Can you just, I don't know, click on?
I did.
Like.
That's what I'm doing.
Doing what?
Clicking on Ben.
Okay, but can you tell? Can you tell the silent observer to click on Ben?
I'm clicking as the silent observer.
Oh, but it's not working.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait a minute. That pink background, orange hat jitsu, that's me. Okay.
Oh.
But still, like,
Technology will never understand it.
okay, like, we're gonna waste time here, so I'm just gonna read out what's on the slides, and then we're gonna post a link, and then we're gonna use. I think we're just gonna have to go back to.
Can we just edit out the entirety of the video, please?
Yeah, we should just like replace it with the slides. Okay, at least the people on the call can see them. So, and then like I said, we'll link to the slides. So let's just go through them. Otherwise, we're never gonna get anywhere. So,
all right, walk me through them, and I'll advance as you go.
All right, click. Okay, so this is So I always run the same command to figure out how many commits we had, and the raw number doubled. And so wait a minute, this was a master branch, not a next branch. Now I'm not quite sure if this is accurate because of the way like our branches work, but I think it's definitely true that we had a lot more traffic in this year, and I think that's sort of the first we knew. And usually I would look up who the first commit was, but this also doesn't work properly. Like the first one in this entry is from Bogdan, and I actually don't know Bogdan, so congratulations, Bogdan.
Oh no!
But
all right, give me a second.
I'm just gonna read out the slides then while you figure that out.
That was me trying to touch the YouTube link. Oh my goodness.
So we had 64 unique committers from 49, and I don't have the top 5 contributions from last year, but the numbers for the top 5 are also higher. And like these are all names that we know. Although I got to say that I'm very happy that Brennan is on the list because I don't think he was a contributor last year, and he's now very active. Submitted a lot of stuff. Straight upstream, excellent work. Okay, can you keep going, man?
Yep.
So this is just some nice stats from GitHub. Like when do people commit? Is this UTC? No, this local time. Oh, that's interesting. So it's normalized to people's local time. So people submit most of the code in the evening or.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in here. So that figure shows that like most people somewhere around 60:30, 18 o'clock. And that also shows that hackers don't like respect night. So if you actually like split the day, not slide at once. If you split the day not at 24 o'clock, but like on the next slide at 6 a.m., then you get more of a coherent view of time. And it shows that like most things happen in the evening or early morning hours. So if you advance one slide more, you can see that basically if you plot this as PDF, you can see that the mean commit time is around the 4th coffee, so around 70:30. And there's like the mean peak is at 16 o'clock, roughly. The second peak is at around 22:30. And if you subtract no color from this plot, then we get more of one peak. So, yeah.
Andre is screwing us stats. Is it the mean time or is it the median?
It's mean.
Okay. Can you go one more slide, Ben, please? This is another stat that Marcus came up with. Do you want to talk to it, Marcus?
Sure. So we've had 1,601 closed issues by yesterday on GitHub. Not all from this year, though. So I asked myself, when did people open and close issues? So I've got this plot that shows in blue the point in time where issues were opened, and in orange the point in time when they were closed. And one can see that the project was very active early 2015, and that kind of ebbed down, and then there was practically no pull request activity around 2017 December. And then we've got a proper explosion, and we've got like the most commits pull requests closed ever in November of this year. So that was very impressive. So I guess you're gonna mention that in a minute, but as we've moved to the core developers team having pull requests merging privileges, we were able to actually like make this thing go fast as hell. This is actually pretty awesome. So and like the last bar is actually December of this year, and that's not even like that's 1/3 of December coming up, and everyone knows that people that work at like 1 a.m. are not very likely to work less over Christmas. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
All right.
That's really cool, Marcus. This is a neat chart.
Sorry?
You cut out, Ben. What did you say?
Oh, I was just congratulating Marcus on the brilliance of this chart. This is really awesome.
Yeah, I like it too. And I think so. Marcus sent me this, and it.
Go on without me.
Marcus was sent me this picture, and it had like a subject line of like why, I don't know, why we're such a good community or something like that. And I think what you meant, Marcus, was that we don't leave a lot of pull requests dangling. Although we have a few. We apologize to all of those guys. Can you go on, Ben? Next slide, please. Yeah, this is just something I throw in all the time, just to yeah, this is just a number. It doesn't. It's hard to say if it's good or bad, but like the number of publications went up from last year, and not insignificantly. So that's pretty cool. I don't have any mailing list stats, so you can skip the next slide, Ben. But I think it's probably true that Marcus is the undisputed king of the mailing list. We currently have 264 issues open. It was 148 last year. And that's good and bad. Open issues means unresolved bugs, but also it means more participation. And we currently have 24 open pull requests. So we are trying to get that down. Yeah. So last year I showed like these open hub stats, but you don't bother clicking the link because it hasn't updated in 2 months, and I don't know why. I tried like forcing an update yesterday. But what's cool about this website, Open Hub, even though it's not updated, is you can sort of estimate what it would take to develop the software if you had to like pay someone to do it, and you can enter like an average salary or something like that. It's just one number, and it uses the Kokomo model to then calculate a cost. And I just made up some salary and was clicking around a bit, but it was like on the order of $10 million worth of software that we have here. And like I said, this is not a scientifically derived number, but I think it's not unreasonable. So Andre, I think, is the one who's done most work in the continuous integration stuff. We have BuildBot running on the OSU OSL OpenStack cluster, which is great for many reasons, and we want to thank those guys. So OSU OSL is, what is it, Oregon State Open Source Labs or something? Okay, no one disagrees, so that must be right. Yeah, it's great. Like, this is really good. Like, we run BuildBot all the time, and one of the things, by the way, that we're currently working on is to make sure that our QA tests, which now get like exercised at a much, much, much higher rate than before, they have sporadic failures, which we kind of ignored in the past, or maybe we didn't even see them. And we're trying to sort of make sure that those are becoming more stable. It's one of the many things that we're working on towards the release. Speaking of releases, can you advance? We had 8 GNU Radio releases, and they were all on the 3.7 line. Now 8 is a bit of an inflation because we had like it took like 4 attempts to release 3.7.13. But I still think this is a good number because honestly I had like a little bit of a sort of I don't want to say depression, but I was just a little, I don't know. underwhelmed by what we achieved just code-wise in GNU Radio this year. But then I looked when I was making the slides and including this one, I realized no, actually, it just felt like that because we had so much backlog and stuff going on. But we actually did a lot. Like just taking both the number of commits and the number of releases into account tells me we were not lazy by any means. And it's not just like few of us. Like we had more unique committers as well. And we also had the conference, which is the next slide. And before I talk about the conference, I will only briefly talk about the conference. I think the biggest, most important bullet point on here is like thanking the committee. Like a lot of people put like a lot of work into it. Like Nate, for example, who was like the not just like one of the key members, but also was like the person we had on site. Like we cannot run these conferences if there's no one on site. I mean, like locally. So Nate deserves a big round of applause, but like so does Derek, Neil, and there's a bunch of other people on the committee. And I'm sorry, but I don't have all the names right now. Michelle was there. I'm sorry. Like I know you guys did a lot of work, and I should have researched it properly. But this is a tremendous amount of work, and I think the conference is so important to us because I think one of our most important assets as the GNU Radio project is our community, and the conference is where we all get together. Technical proceedings are published, and we will have videos coming soon. We only had one Hackfest this year, and I would not call it a resounding success. So this is a picture of like I came into the one morning I came into the Hackfest, and this is what it looked like. So we weren't exactly drowning in participants. We did a lot of stuff for the number of people that were there. We closed a lot of bugs. It was mostly Maitland, Michael Dickens, and myself, and then Brent Stapleton from Edis and Trong Tran from Edis also jumped in occasionally. And then we had a couple of visitors, which was also very nice. Looking forward, there will be a Hackfest before FOSDEM, and we already have a wiki page up for that. So, if you want to join us in Belgium, please do so. And there is no upper limit for the number of Hackfests we can do, although people will only go to so many. But still, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to do a Hackfest, it's a great idea. Please get in touch with us so we can promote it. And that's very welcome. We had a Summer of Code, GSOC. There is no SOCUS. Actually, wait a minute. Let's see if I can edit the slide before Ben advances. Power of the Cloud. There was no SOCUS this year, so this is not like we failed to participate. It just didn't happen. But we did participate in GSOC. We had 2 students work on GR module and MIMO code. The GR module PR has been up on time. Like this was like none of the students were slacking, not just in their actual work and the blogging, but also in the submission. But we haven't merged it yet. We still have to. So that's what us. The MIMO code, was that an out-of-stream module?
It actually was developed against GR Digital, which should probably upstream that pretty soon. Yeah, it has a high code quality there.
That is true.
Yeah, so it kind of stands out in GR Digital.
The MIMO project has a first in our Summer of Code, which is the first time where a student participated for the second time. So in GSOC, you can participate up to 2 times. And this is the first time this has happened for us. So, project calls. Like this one happened every month except for the GRCon month in June where we canceled it. They go onto YouTube, and I think they're very useful.
They mostly work.
They mostly work, yeah, even when we're using open source software. And final slide of this sort of collection of stats is, well, I don't have any stats at all. But we have a website which we're also working on, and that is also something where people can help us to work on because it might be an easier entry barrier for people who want to get involved. And finally, there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. Actually, Ben, can you advance? There's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. IRC and Slack are probably the easiest. We also have a mailing list, which also called like the living room of Markus Müller. Yeah, which is just a great place to discuss things. There was one thing that I should have mentioned, and I just only thought about it, which is the grep system, which we introduced this year. And I think we will see more of next year. Greps are our enhancement proposals, and yeah, we use them to discuss development before people, go and sink hours and weeks of their time, just and then give us like billions of lines of code to review and merge, which is really, really not the best thing, even though we very much appreciate all contributions. Yeah, so we have this system in place, and we've been using it this year, and there will be more of it next year. All right, that's it. I think in summary, I can say this was we've been very active, and we will have a 3.8 release next year. There's no two ways about it. We can be happy. We had a leadership transition this year. With Jonathan Corgan leaving and Marcus taking over, it was a big year, and I think we shouldn't feel bad about not having a 3.8 release in 2018, given like all the other efforts and contributions that we manage as a community. So I think we can be proud about that. All right, Ben, I think you can unshare your screen before your browser explodes. So the three other bullet points that we have are a quick summary of the 3.8 release plan, which we do have. Then we want to plug FOSDEM and GSOC, and unless someone else comes up with something, that would be it for this call. Marcus, can you quickly talk about 3.8?
Sure. So 3.8's been in the making like forever, and it's finally like things are coming together, which is great. We decided that we'll have a feature freeze on the 10th of January, which means that if you submit a feature request, if you submit like a feature pull request, chances are it won't be in 3.8.0.0. Doesn't mean it's not going to be in 3.8.0.1 or whatever. It also means that if you do that, don't worry, we'll still keep track of that. It's not going to be dragged out forever, because we do plan to get 3.8 out the door pretty soon. What we're going to do in the process is we'll go into basically our project tracker, which you'll find on GitHub, and we'll make sure that everything's sorted out there. As soon as we've done that, we'll do a I'm actually not sure how many issues for. Let me have a quick look. We have 22 to-dos right now in the release 3.8 project. There's certainly some coming up. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. But these should get sorted out during January, and then we'll actually have like the release candidate. If that release candidate doesn't pretty much burst in flames as soon as it hits the internets, we'll do the big fat reformatting patch, which means that if you're familiar with like the GNU Radio code that's been developed over the last more than a decade, it's of very different formatting and code style and indent style. Everything's kind of ugly, and we kind of need to fix that because it's actually measurably impacting our ability to fix stuff. So we'll make a cut, we'll do the reformatting, we do another release candidate, hoping that it doesn't again burst into flames, and then if that works, we'll have a release. This needs a lot of careful testing, actually. There's a lot of testing issues that we need to sort out until then. This, of course, needs also a lot of coordination with distribution maintainers and stuff, so that it's not like release 3.8 and then there's no binary packages for half a year or something. So as soon as we've sorted that out, we'll have 3.8, and it's definitely going to be in the spring. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Cool. I'm also very excited.
Yeah.
I mean, so no, actually, I'm not going to go into that. I'm just very excited. I think we finally, just finally having that Python 3 support we've been talking about for, since I joined the project 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It just feels so good. All right, 2 more items. First is FOSDEM. FOSDEM is a conference in Brussels, Belgium, which will happen on the 2nd of February and the 3rd. So that's a Saturday and a Sunday, in case you're wondering. It costs nothing. There's no registration fee. All you have to do is show up, which, if you don't live close to Brussels, is still a lot of effort. I realize that. But it is a great conference, and the reason we're plugging it is there is a software radio track. It used to be called the software-defined radio track, and we renamed it the free software track because there were some comments that we weren't, addressing ham radio applications and SATCOM, and I just wanted to sort of dissuade people of that notion that this is about, software-defined radio frameworks or anything like that. So we just renamed it. Also, it's a little bit more in line with, the general spirit of FOSDEM. The schedule is fixed and finalized. It's already published on the FOSDEM website, but that shouldn't dissuade that you should just come and enjoy the talks if you're interested in radios. All the radio talks will be on the Sunday, and on the Saturday, most of us will be, after we've cured our hangover from the beer event, we will also be there, and we might have a little meetup for an hour or so in one of the meetup rooms. But also we will just, Marcus is there, and Andre, I think, and I will be there, and maybe a couple of others. Phil probably. What I'm trying to say here is you can, reach out to us and have a conversation with us. Like, for those who are actually running the dev room, so that includes myself and Phil, we're not easy to get hold of on the Sunday, but on the Saturday, that's really the main reason why I'm traveling all the way to Brussels. And the same is true for other people. And I'm really looking forward to, meeting new people and old people, talk about radio and all of that. Also just enjoying some other good talks on free software. It's a great place. It's a great conference. I can highly recommend it.
Martin.
Yes.
Did you recommend the Hackfest?
Oh, maybe you can recommend the Hackfest.
I should probably recommend the Hackfest. Prior to FOSDEM, so on the end of January, starting Thursday before FOSDEM, that should be the 29th or 30th. Oh, I get this mixed up. In the Brussels Hackspace, Andre is organizing a GNU Radio Hackfest with, I think, talks by Derek, probably by me, by Andre, and also general GNU radio hacking. So come see us there, come contribute, that would be cool. And generally, coming to Brussels a little earlier, if you have never been there, is probably worth the time just for the waffles. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing you at the Hackfest.
Excellent. Final plug, and actually I do have another agenda item, I just realized. But before that final plug, we will be applying for GSOC. Well, that's not even a plug, it's just an announcement. We will be applying. And if we get selected, who knows? We will try our best. Then there will be more opportunity to work on GNU Radio sponsored by Google, the same way that we've done in the last couple of years. And we have an ideas list that's currently being curated. Improving the ideas list is actually something we need to do right now. So any help with that will be highly appreciated. Felix is running the org, is being org admin again this year, and I'm very grateful for that. He did a great job last year. It was a success, and Felix, is a success story for us in a way, because he actually also was a GSOC student at one point. Okay, I just want to whet people's appetites in my last bullet point. So at GRCon we had a working group on heterogeneous computing, and it's still up to me to sort of make sure that we continue that discussion. But I just want to broaden this a little and say I'm gonna submit greps for a couple of things, which which were not necessarily my ideas, but they were ideas that came up, and I would like to get the community involved in discussing those. I'm just gonna give you a sneak preview on what they are. First of all, separation of scheduler and base GNU radio, so we can start working on scheduler in a more dynamic fashion. Removal of log for CPP or log for CXX dependency and replacing it with something else. Question is what? Writing a library to parse GNU radio block headers, which is something that would make it easier, to interface with GNU radio, to extract information about blocks automatically. Maybe it'll improve our build process or module, who knows. A wild idea is to remove Swig and replace it with something else, like Boost Python, for example. And yeah, those are the ones that I had. Now, like I said, none of these might come into fruition. These are ideas that came up over the last year, and no one sort of owned them. And I can't own all of them either. But what I can do is I can submit the greps and kick off a discussion process. So if you are a user of GNU Radio and any of these things interests you, or maybe you're a student or a researcher in computer science and you want to research scheduling, or maybe you're just an admin and you hate dependencies, like any of these things, if they interest you, then keep an eye on the mailing list. I will send out an email once I've done that. And also I will let everyone know who was at the heterogeneous working group session at GRCon about these efforts, because they plug in very, very well. Because I think the heterogeneous working group discussions we had, even though I know most people who are listening to this call weren't privy to those discussions, tend to get stuck in sort of an early phase because it's just so hard to do changes. And I think if we add this dynamic component to GNU Radio where we can have pluggable schedulers, for example, we would enable much more productive, development, and you could have a battle of the schedulers kind of thing. All right, that's actually it. Anything else that came up while I was rambling?
So people were asking about the GRCon videos, and I've talked to Ben in the background, and he says they just need to be finished labeling, and they'll be online pretty soon. So that's one thing. The other thing is that as we're talking about GRCon, people might have noticed that the current website since GRCon hasn't seen a lot of updates. During GRCon, there was some activity, and that's mainly because, as Martin mentioned, we're progressing towards through websites after our first website kind of got into technical troubles. So this is going to be available soon, but it needs the time to move over the old GRCon and the new GRCon content. So I hope Andre will manage to do that between the years, but I obviously can't promise his family time.
Cool. Now I'm trying to find my Jitsi window. There we are. Well, thanks everyone, not just for this call, but also for for all the great work that everyone did in 2018. And I'm looking forward to the next year with all its glory and new development that it will bring.
Yeah.
Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you guys in January.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.